I can't remember ever wanting to be a fireman or a cowboy or a policeman, or I never really thought about anything other than being an artist. So I did some research and decided that I would like to try the American Academy of Art in Chicago. And so my father and I drove up there and looked at the school, and I liked what I saw because I didn't really know anything else other than it was an art school that was, offering a pure curriculum in art. And so I enrolled there and lived at home, taking the train in every day. And I was there for 1 year. And it was right down the street from the Art Institute of Chicago, which was an amazing institution, still is. And I spent an awful lot of time just going to the museum and studying on my own. A majority of my lunch hours, I would stay after and just live in that environment because it had so much knowledge in it. And then I finished up my last 2 years at the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts, which was a few blocks away from the American Academy, and I majored in animation because Walt Disney had graduated from there, and I figured if it was good enough for him, it was good enough for me. So I graduated in the middle of the year at the end of February, beginning of March of '72, and went out and hired a headhunter and got my first job in a corporate in-house art department. At that time, there was a shakeup at the Disney Studios out in Burbank, of which Don Bluth was one of the main animators, and he wanted to go on his own to start his own company. And he convinced a large group of the animators that were employed by Disney to come with him, which shattered the animation force at Walt Disney Studios. But right after that exodus of that top talent, Disney Studios put out a worldwide call for people to apply, and so I sent a reply in and some sample work, and it was a program that went on for over a year, where at any point in time you could be cut. And I had just been married. I had just finished an illustration for Playboy magazine for Star Wars, because Star Wars had come out, and they paid me $3,000 for that. And so I would have had to move out to LA, live at the YMCA, ride a bike everywhere because I couldn't afford a car out there. I was leaving my wife at home, back in Chicago, because it was a tenuous situation. You never knew if you could make it all the way through the review program. And so we thought about it, and I elected to decline their offer. As I got older and I became more competitive in the marketplace, my interests and range widened, which kind of brings me up to where I'm at now, where I'm proficient in a number of different mediums and different techniques that can be applied to just about every market you can possibly think of. I've worked in editorial markets, publishing, entertainment, institutional work. I've worked in just about every conceivable market you can think of. I've worked with many Fortune 500 companies doing poster work and annual reports when they did print annual reports. I've worked on the Olympics a couple of times doing poster work for McDonald's. And the difference between, again, with that illustration is that you are being paid to illustrate something that people are going to sell and to promote, as opposed to my gallery work, which I started about 5 years ago after planning 30 years to do it. You pretty much do whatever you feel like doing, and you hope for that sells through a gallery that is representing you. You're not really tied to anybody's criteria. You're basically going with your heart's desire and hope that it connects with an audience. I get bored if I just do the same thing all the time. And maybe that comes from wanting to be more marketable in the commercial world. But I have so many interests and so many influences in my work over these many years that I wanted to explore those, you know, and I wanted to bring everything up to the same level. Sometimes, and this is not a criticism; it's an observation that some artists that I've noticed over my many years who have a range in their work. Sometimes, oftenly, they are very proficient in one area, and then they go off into other areas, and those other areas are never quite have the strength of visual voice as the thing that they kind of are known for, and I didn't want to have that happen, so. I didn't want to have someone say, "Wow, this stuff kind of falls down over here, but this stuff, you're rocking it over here." I didn't want that, and so I worked really hard consciously to whatever I did, whether it be the comic book work compared to the landscape work, the gallery work, all of that, it would have the same degree of quality and integrity artistically that I was striving for, and apparently from comments and support from peers and friends and professional people, I was able to accomplish that over many years of hard work. I'm about to enter my 46th year. So I've really been able to achieve my goal of being accepted in the comic industry. Following my love again for that medium when I was very young, and I'm still working in it. I'm still doing work in that capacity. If it's commercial work, I want them to buy it. I want them to buy something. You know, whatever I'm advertising with my imagery, I want them to go out and buy it. With my gallery work, with my entertainment work, the emphasis is I want them to be entertained. I want them to, whatever their day is like, if they look at a piece of my work, that it brings some pleasure to them, that they are entertained to some degree. If it's a children's book work, young adult readers, whatever it would be, I want whoever is looking at my work to bring back a sense of joy.